Ask the Expert, brought to you by Nelligan Law.
It is time to Ask the Expert. Today we are joined by Malini Vijay Kumar. She's joining us from Nelligan Law, and we want to get some questions based on what you guys are entitled to if you're let go from your employer. Here's how you can reach us. You can send us your questions to Nelligan Law, live phone call, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. You can also email us, yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. Again, your rights. If you are let go from your employer, if you have any questions, Melanie is here to answer them for today. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us this morning, because I think it's a really important question, and we were just talking before. You know, it's not the nitty-gritty details. People just want to know the basics.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's really important, and we actually do have a viewer question from you as well. So our first viewer question is, if there is a change in a business ownership after 10 years of full-time employment, could that affect severance if the company's new ownership makes cuts?
That is a great question, and there are protections against that. So if your employer has been bought out and there's a new company coming in and they say that they want to make changes, that new company has to respect the 10 years of service that you've already got. They can't just come in and say, well, it's new ownership and, you know, we're going to let people go and we're going to assume that, you know, you've only been here for as long as a new company's been in place. That's not the case. Your full length of service has to be respected.
And that's really, I think, important for a lot of people, because there are a lot of businesses right now that are selling, new owners are taking over, and there's been people with the company for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, so it's really important to know your rights in that circumstance.
Absolutely.
And then in general, what are some key component parts that people should be aware of that maybe you've seen a lot in your field where they don't even know the basis, where you actually might be surprised, like, oh, like, you don't know that you're entitled to this?
You know, I see this all the time, and it sounds really basic, but when you're let go, it's a really stressful moment and situation. So many people just sign what they've been offered. Whenever a company lets you go and they offer you some severance, they're probably always going to include a release with it, which is basically an agreement that says, in exchange for the money that the company is paying me, I'm not going to sue the company, I'm not going to file a human rights complaint, I'm not going to file a Ministry of Labor complaint. That's the thing that the company wants to get from you. That's the exchange. In exchange for the money, the company gets that promise from you. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the money that the company offers you in exchange for that, it's never going to be 100 cents on the dollar. They have no incentive to offer that right off the bat. It's probably might be anywhere from 25 to 75 cents on the dollar. But you know, you are shortchanging yourself if you don't take a breath, take a beat, even though it's really stressful, and say, hold on a second, is there more that I should be getting here in exchange for this pretty valuable promise that I'm going to give my former employer?
And it can be. I think you make such a good point, because during this time, it is really emotional, right? You're going through so many different things, and you might make a rash decision, or you might be a little bit scared and just accept a deal. So what is it known to have, like, your rights? Like, what should we know as somebody that has been let go? Like, what are my rights in that circumstance? And do I have a deadline when I need to make that decision?
Yeah, so your rights could be governed by a few different sources of law. So there's the Employment Standards Act. I think a lot of folks know about that. It's 1, maybe 2 weeks of pay or notice per year of service. But that's not all. And you know, your contract might say that that's all that you get, or your contract might say if you're let go, you're only going to be paid this many weeks or that many weeks. There is a baseline protection as well. It's called the common law, and it's actually law made by judges in court decisions that says that you may be entitled to more than that. And so the important thing for folks to know is that whatever you're being told that you are owed, that you have an entitlement to, that is probably not the whole story. It's probably your contract even is probably not the whole story. And you know, this is an area of law where you're really going to want to go and check with a specialist in the area, because if you just read your contract, that may not be all that you're entitled to. And in terms of deadlines, so your employer's probably going to give you a deadline. They're probably going to say, you know, we need you to sign this back in 7 days or 10 days or something. That is not a real deadline. And again, you know, it's people are really stressed in this situation, and they see a deadline and they go, oh my God, if I don't sign that, I'm not going to get anything. The thing you have to remember is The company wants to settle with you. They recognize they owe you money. They wouldn't offer you anything if they didn't realize that they owed you something.
Right.
And so it is worth it, no matter how stressful it feels, and I know it can feel really stressful. Take a breath and go, hold on a minute. They're offering me money for something. I must have some leverage here. I must have some power here. Maybe I should go and get some advice. And you can always write back to your employer and say, you know, I'm going to need more time. And I have never seen an employer that has said, nope, that's all the time that you have. We're going to take this off the table, because they want you to sign that release.